there was tire controversy
Ooh.
at Bristol, so that was a big deal.
Little Bristol? Were they always getting the wrecks and stuff like that?
The half mile.
Yeah. I like Bristol.
Dudes' tires were just getting eroded. They had to manage tires.
Yeah, baby.
There was all kinds of tire fall off all over the track.
Debris everywhere.
Guys were blowing off tires.
What happened?
Basically, they used the same tire. This is really probably boring to a lot of people. They used a different type of. It's kind of like a baseball deal with rosin, a rosin bag.
Yeah.
They use a different type of treatment on the track that caused more tire wear. So early on, dudes are just blowing tires.
Scary.
And so Denny Hamlin won. Martin Truex finished his second. So it was the veteran drivers that had the years of experience on short tracks of how to manage their tires who were able to succeed and not just go out there and just hammer down and drive as fast as possible and switch it up. This was a little more about experience, which a lot of the drivers and teams really like this because they feel like this car has dumbed down the product where just everybody has the same car and you just go and there's a lot of luck.
Do you
and it's
like
all
Bristol?
About track position. I do, yes.
So do I. I think it's interesting.
But
I like when they go fast too, though.
Well, here's what I'll say. I am not the person who grew up watching NASCAR. So the super speedways to me are the most fun, but they're not the best judge of a driver because there's so much luck involved.
Yeah.
If half the field gets wrecked and it's not their fault, like there's usually more random winners at the super speedways, whereas some of these tracks where it's more about truly the driver's
creeping
ability,
out. Yeah.
Usually the cream rises to the top on some of these other tracks.
And it's hard to get from like way in the back to get to the front in Bristol.
Well, especially with this particular car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that to me is interesting, man.
You know what?
I like to pick your brain about that stuff, dude.
This is also me for 2 years really now getting into this sport. And I was into it a lot in Michigan because we had the track there and there was 2 cup races. So I did cover a lot of NASCAR. This is 17 years ago, but I never followed it like this. What I find really interesting about NASCAR is how they look at cheating. Because as a person who grew up mostly a baseball guy, we look at cheating in baseball, or at least we used to, with steroids. And it was the end of the world.
End of the world, Charlie.
And these people are just go away and never come back.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, we change our mind. But still, football is a sport where it's like, if you're doing juice, okay, everybody did juice in the 80s. 4-game suspension these days, who cares? NASCAR, I've realized this from the fans and even the crews and whatnot, they embrace a level of cheating that they would almost call engineering. Because think about it. It's about what you can get away with from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
And it's also the sport was literally started on running moonshine. So think about it. The whole sport was started on cheating the government because you're tricking up cars to run moonshine in the South.
Yep.
So like that's the whole sport was created on a level of cheating.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's cool.
So they actually want the engineers and the crew chiefs to be able to trick up the car and have an advantage. And a lot of people don't like the fact that the cars are all the same now, which I think is very interesting when you look at how cheating is perceived in different sports. In NASCAR, it's embraced. Like the best stories, when people go on Dale Jr.'s download, the best stories are the guys finally telling each other how they cheated.
Like, give me an example of how they cheated to where people are like, God, I just got away with this. No one knew.
I mean, dude, it could be like, was it last year? Denny Hamlin wins the race. Where was that? Was it Martinsville? I can't remember where it was early on. He wins the race. They find a little piece of tape on the car, and they had to give up the trophy. He had to basically, he won. He was in victory lane. They gave him the trophy. He goes home. They go, no, you didn't win. You had a little piece of tape on the car. So what I'm saying is, just over the years, though, little things. It could be a 1/4 inch little here.
Yeah.
It could be you shave down this.
Yes.
You're trying to add a little downforce here. What I'm saying is everybody did it. And it was kind of who could creatively do it the best and get away with it. So it was looked upon more as ingenuity was the word I was looking for, not engineering. Ingenuity is the NASCAR term for cheating, and it was always there. And people kind of liked the fact that folks would try to get away with it.
Interesting. Would you rather the cars be a little bit different, allow a little bit of just like some sort of
A Jeep. Put a Jeep.
put a Jeep tire.
Just
in
one
there?
Jeep.
Like, would you want that, or do you like all the cars the same?
I think I'd want a little more of the old school.
Yeah.
I'm more old school.
Be creative.
And all the old school guys that I really like, when they keep asking for this, it makes me feel like that it was, and it was. But I also was into NASCAR when it was really big in 06, 07, when Dale Jr. Like, NASCAR peaked around 08 from a viewership standpoint, and that's after Dale Sr. died.
Yeah.
It was literally because Dale Jr. was doing cribs, and he's super popular. He had the Bud car.
Yeah.
Budweiser was
awesome.
running him around everywhere.
Yeah. Is it the 8 car?
His was the 8, yes,
Yeah.
for Budweiser.
There's nothing old school about NASCAR, though. Like, you know about this. I only know from watching, like, No Prep Kings, like the race show that they have on Discovery or whatever. But, I mean, even those guys that are racing for $500, the computer analytics and gauging the wind force and the tire contact and everything like that, it's insane. I would only imagine it's like 100 times more NASCAR, right? Everything is computerized. They have readouts for every mechanism in that car, right?
Right. What I'm saying, though, is that the old school was how they tech inspected the car, whereas now they drive it into essentially a shed that has like the 360 imaging.
Yeah, like you get you get an MRI or something.
So back in the day, they'd say, "Hey, we can add a little quarter inch this
I
here.
shaved that little bad boy off.
Could we get away with it?"
Yeah, I like that. Damn, that car's running hot. Well, he shaved a little part off.
And
the
who's
bottom.
watching? Like, is it Angel Hernandez up in a tower?
No, I'm saying they drive their car into a shed that has 360 imaging.
Yeah, yes.
I thought that's how they figure out
It's
where
like, it's like a car wash, but it's like checking everything.
Here's a good one. Just happened about 3 weeks ago. This shows you. So Joey Logano, 2-time champ, awesome driver. Did you hear what he got caught with a couple weeks ago?
No.
So basically, this is what I'll talk about. The advantages, just the small advantages they're looking for. They tricked out his driving gloves for qualifying.
I did see that.
So if he were to hold his glove potentially at a certain spot and his gloves were webbed, that he'd get an advantage in terms of aero with basically the wind in the car for just qualifying. All he was trying to do was have the best qualifying lap. So you're not even going to wear those in the race. But that's what I'm talking about, the level of cheating.
His glove.
And he got caught.
How does that help
They
him?
tricked out, by the way, his gloves, which have to be, all these have to be flame retardant. They all have to be.
Would you call me? Oh, yeah, okay.
They all have to be checked for all that.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. You have an open window. If you can hold a bigger glove, you're looking for the micro amounts of advantage. So he tricks out his glove, and as he's doing his qualifying lap, if you can hold it in a certain spot potentially where you're reducing the airflow, just a little bit of an advantage.
I like that.
That's what I think is cool about the sport, which they've gotten rid of.
So wait,
But they're still trying. That goes to show you they're still trying.
they don't normally have their hand out the window. You're saying he intentionally did it as a way to cut through the wind better.
It wasn't out the window. Again, you're talking about blocking a little bit of air just for qualifying, which your qualifying position is very important.
Yeah.
If you start in the front, you can start out front and you can get away from all the crappy wrecks that happen in the middle of the pack when you're
just getting
qualifying
drafted.
25th and 30th.
Damn, if I had a ton of money, I'd have a big-ass garage attachment, like Kenny does, and I'd have a mellow yellow replica shite kicker. You know what I mean? I guess it wouldn't be, I don't know if you could drive it on the street, but it'd be cool just to have one of those awesome old-school NASCAR. Mellow yellow car, Charlie, that's what I want.
So mellow yellow, wasn't that Junior had Mountain Dew? Now he has Sundrop.
I like
Sundrop is his big
I like the soda one.
sponsor now. This happened in dirt racing the other day with something they're spraying on tires. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying is that the cheating, which they call ingenuity, is just embedded in this sport. They have dirt racers. There was a huge scandal last week because they're spraying something on the tires. They're essentially doping the tires.
I think
it's kind of
cool.
super interesting.
It's kind of cool. What's the big race this weekend?
So wait, this weekend is Circuit of the Americas. So COTA, Austin, Texas, road course.
Oh, nice.